Welcome back, attractive and well-educated watchers, to a brand new episode of Zambiddlyambinos. Last time we left off, the party managed to get themselves out to Galveston and survived the zombie hordes long enough to be picked up by the USS Gerald R Ford. By the USS Gerald R Ford, the super awesome aircraft carrier in the U.S. Navy. From there, Alexei, now known as Adric Morozov, was able to be taken out and taken to somewhere important, and we will welcome everybody to introduce themselves before we do a block text.
Anais.
He's making coffee.
I heard it. I'm Manasseh Skywriter playing Colonel Lucas Casper of the United States Air Force.
There you go.
I'm Flicker playing John Schaefer of U.S. Marines.
I'm Seth Gatomia. I'm playing Captain Jacob Lafitte of the U.S. Navy.
Is that my cue?
Yeah, that's your cue.
That's your cue.
Oh, okay. I'm Trey Kekas, and I'm playing Chaz.
You're gonna get chazzed.
You're gonna get chazzed out.
Alright. So...
I just realized I don't have a single complementary skill group. What the fuck is a complementary skill group?
We'll talk about it later. It's not important right now.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. Not important right now.
Why does
So,
everyone else get complementary skill groups? Why don't I get one?
we'll explain later. Not important right now.
Okay.
Now some block text. After having barely gotten to Galveston and received evac from the U.S. military, you've spent the last week on the USS Gerald R Ford, now debriefed, recommissioned, declassified, retrained, fitted, outfitted, reinducted, briefed, and repositioned. Alexei, now known to you as Command Sergeant Major Adric Morozov of the U.S. Delta Force, has been flown off to a hospital ship in a classified location. Given your positions and well-known capacity toward violence, the U.S. military has deemed it appropriate to give you some degree of independence and authority, allowing you to requisition appropriate equipment in order to carry out what plans you can develop that are well accepted by the upper echelons of the remaining U.S. forces. One moment, sorry. You won't get anything particularly fancy, and since you weren't already in charge of an aircraft carrier, it's very unlikely that you'll get your hands on one without commandeering an old naval museum, technically a possibility, but you are able to plan amongst yourselves on what you want to do and present your ideas. For now, however, you're all cleaned up and expected to find some way to carry your weight while the combined Atlantic fleets of the U.S. Navy are gathering together in the Gulf of Mexico. The President and most of his cabinet, so you gather, are safe at an undisclosed location in the Rockies, and the U.S. military at large has fallen back to defensive positions and are regrouping for an all-out assault on the zombie threat. All the while, special CDC task forces are working hard to isolate the virus and find out exactly what the hell is going on. For now, your time is your own.
So on that note, we could go get another aircraft carrier.
In strict hypothesis, if we wanted to sail around on our own little thing.
Lexington's just a few, dozen miles down the coast.
Question is, how populated is that area going to be with zombies now? And who else is going to also have that same idea?
I mean, it's Corpus Christi, so it's a community of a size that you can look up.
It's a community of an amount.
Of an amount, yeah. Definitely a place with people in it.
It's a habitated environment with humans.
Now zombies.
Yeah.
Hey, quick question. Seth, how were you able to type into the Google search?
Oh my god.
Oh,
Alright, Anais. So at the top left corner, there's a little pop-up screen.
Yeah,
Nice.
that does all problems. That fixes all the problems. Hell
Should
with
I
that.
ask why there's so many tokens?
Well, it's...
Oh, that's the outbreak territory. No, not actually.
That's the rough distribution of zombie hordes as determined by satellite imagery.
Do I even want to know how you can satellite imagery corpses?
Well,
Hordes.
when they
you can
Big
satellite
massive heat.
you can
When they
satellite imagery
It'd be cold,
entire
Seth.
armies.
no, yeah, you can satellite imagery the entire fucking horde. It's like a school of fish, my guy.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's like a giant school of fish.
Also, why do they have maces?
Oh.
'Cause they're-
What the fuck did the zombies infect the Renaissance Fair?
You know what? If they did, that's fine too. Although, realistically speaking, no. Probably actually, like, Renaissance and medieval reenactors would be better equipped to handle zombies than most average common folk.
Oh my goodness.
But, yeah, no, that was mostly the joke that we wanted to pull out there. So, you know, fun with that. So, yeah, what are you guys gonna do? You talk amongst yourselves, figure out your plans for the future. You've got a couple of 06s around, so you have no shortage of authority to actually throw around if you need to. It's just, you know, resources being what they are.
We should liberate Cuba.
Okay, that's a curious statement there, Trikekis. Now that we're on camera, please explain your position. Whilst we go over to Cuba real quick. Bam, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's an island, so we all know that islands are generally safer than the mainland right now, right?
To an
Today I
extent,
learned
depending
that
on
there
the
is a place
population.
called Florida in Cuba.
Yeah.
Truly amazing.
Here's the question, though. We don't know if Cuba has been infected by the zombies yet. Like, yes, it would be safer if there are no zombies, but if there's already zombies,
did
it's
you know
going to be a
that-
death trap.
Did you know that Cuba has an unusually high ratio of doctors to populace?
No.
Yeah, that's
actually.
not exact. I mean, that'll help with finding a cure. That's not going to help stop the outbreak. Well,
Yes,
prevent the
Yes,
outbreak.
it absolutely does help with managing an outbreak. It's also a very you know,
Go ahead.
it's a fucking communist hellhole, my guy.
If there's an outbreak, they're gonna surround the village with
No,
tanks.
I was just gonna say, if there's an outbreak, they're just gonna shoot everyone.
Like,
Like-
there is outbreaks in China of the bubonic plague every so often, and what they do is they surround the village with tanks and shoot anyone that tries to come out.
Yeah, no, they are. And don't get me wrong, the Cuban military has definitely gotten smaller in the last couple of decades, but it's they had decades and decades and decades of Soviet arms imports into the country.
Like, I have no doubt in my mind that China is doing just fine right now.
I have no fucking doubt that China is a fucking hellhole with approaching 1 billion dead people walking the streets.
So
Yeah, okay.
incidentally, on Cuba, because
Cuba-
fuck China. On Cuba's case, it is 171st out of 180 of the journalistic integrity based, countries with journalistic integrity or anything where journalism is protected. So, they're a little authoritarian. A little.
And let's not even get started on how we did all our enhanced interrogation in Cuba. I mean, the U.S. isn't above using a little torture there, but that's political.
Yeah, I'm going to have to...
So Trikekis wants to liberate, quote-unquote, Cuba.
It's also got a pretty fucking good industrial base for eventually coming back and recovering the mainland.
And cows.
And it's got super cows.
Here's the question, though. Would it really be worth it? Because, again, we don't know if they've got zombies, and if they do, that's going to be a cleanup. If they don't, we're still going to have to deal with the people.
They almost certainly do have zombies. I find it hard to believe any place in the world doesn't have zombies.
So maybe
Nepal-
Greenland. Greenland
Maybe
doesn't have it because they never get to Greenland unless you take it out in the very beginning.
Like Greenland
Or
and
Madagascar.
Madagascar and maybe Papua New Guinea might not have zombies right now.
Because those ones, if you don't get them early in the game, they always hold out to the
There's probably islands in the Pacific Ocean that are actually free of zombies.
I know there's
Like
a
I
big
said,
island in the
maybe we should go to Hawaii.
The problem is that's on the other side of the United States. That's a different ocean.
And we certainly
But who cares? It's
certainly
America,
cannot-
okay?
And we certainly cannot use the Panama Canal right now.
Yeah, no.
Because I'm sure Panama's going to shit.
All I'm saying is,
And Cuba's economic isolation might actually have cut down on their exposure to zombies a little bit.
We will remind that Cuba is a hugely popular vacation spot for Canadians.
And for
Canada,
Russia,
that would involve a decently long flight over the U.S. to get to.
and with more than enough time for them to realize shit's going down and go, we're a communist shithole and we'll just shoot down any flight that flies over Cuba. Which they are more than capable of.
We love the idea that the apocalypse is happening and a team of dudes sit down and a couple of these, you're only one step away from an admiral and or brigadier general. So these like high ass senior officers are like, okay.
What if we just
work with
liberate
me now? What if we just took Cuba right now?
Well, I mean,
while there's chaos in the air, what if we just took Cuba right now, got that out of the way, worried about the continental United States later?
No. What it is with the way the conversation's going, one of the high-ranking guys is like that, but the person who suggested it was some baseball player they brought along with them.
Also, I forgot to mention the Cubans. This is absolutely racist to say, but Cubans love baseball.
It's not racist. It's nationalist.
Are you saying it's not racist if it's just objectively true?
We mean it's a statistic that 62% of all Cubans play baseball at least once a week. So maybe they hate every second of it, but something tells us that it would not be. We're not talking like watch baseball once a week. Like most Americans watch football. Like over half of Americans watch football once a week, but they do not play football once a week.
I can't remember the last time I played football.
We can remember the last time we played football. It was when we were a kid. Like it was well over a decade ago.
God, you remember being a kid?
I don't think I ever played football.
We didn't say that we remembered having a childhood. We said we remembered being a kid.
I remember at one point in time, I was in fact young.
Right. God, we miss those days. So yeah, you were suggesting taking over Cuba.
I was already going to suggest something pretty simple and straightforward, which is that I think we need to find some kind of physical holding on actual land, because we obviously can't live in the ship forever, and start expanding, like walls.
That's why we should take Cuba, my guy. You're just talking me into it at this point.
My thought process was, I like the island idea. Probably want to start smaller though, and probably somewhere closer to the mainland. I was thinking like a refuge or something to
You do realize that Florida is only 40 miles from Florida is only 40 miles from Cuba, right?
Oh
yeah. Yeah.
Like no, we're not talking far away.
Oh jeez, yeah.
Cuba is so close to the mainland that people just often take the chances of throwing themselves out on rafts to get to America.
And I think I said this before we got on camera, but there's going to be millions of Americans fleeing to Cuba from Florida, because obviously Florida already has a problem with people eating faces, and that's just going to increase.
He's
So what I'm
absolutely
hearing-
right. Florida has a reputation for face eating. It's true.
So what I'm hearing is we should start small and take the keys, and then use that as a launch point
My
to
guy.
take Cuba.
My guy, the keys are already American territory.
Yeah.
If we want to start from somewhere, maybe Puerto Rico, but hey, we need to liberate Cuba.
Wait, isn't Puerto Rico already an American territory?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do I have my geography wrong or no?
No, you are correct.
But remember, of
I want to
course,
be mean and
that
say,
many
surprisingly
American
enough, you're
territories
correct.
Many American territories are no longer really that American. They're zombie.
We need to go thunder and lightning on the Cubans, Operation Rolling Thunder on them, and just take them the fuck out and just eliminate that threat.
We need to spread
Democracy, freedom, and justice to the Cuban people.
For those of you who know, as of recording this video, Helldivers 2 just came out, we believe.
yes.
And we know at least 3 people in this game right now have been playing that game.
If I had money, I probably would be, because I played a little bit of the first game with my brother, and it was fun.
Apparently that's all about spreading democracy, so we haven't gotten it yet. But,
It's about spreading managed democracy.
Managed democracy.
it's
True
cool.
freedom comes
It's
from
cool.
managed
They're a democracy. It's cool. It's totally fine. Yeah. So yeah. What do you? Are you guys going to try to convince the upper echelons of the American Navy to take over Cuba?
I'm not for the idea.
I am also spreading a rumor amongst the lower-ranking members of the crew.
Oh my god!
Wait, that Cuban cows are so genetically superior that it's bred in a resistance to the zombie plague.
We're gonna have you roll. We're gonna have you roll. Roll 3d6.
I will roll 3D.
Roll 3D. Yeah, this is the perfect time for you to roll 3D.
I accidentally clicked it 4D.
Ding dong, your roll is wrong.
Ding dong, my roll is very wrong.
Yeah, redo it. All right. We're just gonna.
Ding dong, your roll was better.
You want low numbers.
You do want low numbers in this setting. That was not correct. That one was literally just wrong. People, it kind of gets swept away in all the other rumor.
Too bad.
The rumor mill grinds it up to dust.
Yeah, the rumor mill just grinds it up to dust over the week that you're there, and it just gets kind of chopped up and recycled into all the other rumors, So
eventually
Japan,
a rumor comes back around that, the zombies are so genetically inbred.
Well,
God damn it.
no, but by the end of the week, it comes back to you that Japan's Kobe cattle have meat that is so good that it provides a resistance to the zombie virus.
Indeed, of course. Of course.
Well, obviously that means we need to go invade Japan.
Well, again, you're in the Gulf of Mexico, so you're not invading Japan anytime soon.
Flicker said,
Oh my God.
I didn't say how long it'll take. I want to invade Japan.
That's fair.
Not through Panama, we won't.
Not through Panama,
I
though.
like that attitude.
I suppose I should say, is there anybody I can actually speak to who has information? Do we have any kind of information network on the state of the world? Or at least the United States?
The president and his cabinet, so far as you know, have been safely sequestered away in an undisclosed location in the Rockies.
Do we have access to satellite imagery?
Yes. Yes, which is why you all have your tablets.
Indeed.
So I suppose what I'm getting at is that I wanted to know whether or not anybody has any idea of any useful location for reclaiming and rebuilding.
Right now, the U.S. military is just falling back to protected locations to get their shit together.
Yeah, how's the army doing?
Army's taken some hits, but for the most part, the U.S. military is managing the evacuation that they can quite well.
Okay, have they been fighting the zombies in any pitched battles?
A few. Mostly in the big cities.
How are those going?
You heard basically all of Long Island got consumed in the first day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I found an oil rig.
Yeah, there's no established narrative on exactly how New York or LA are doing, but it sounds like they fell in
It's a
hours. Yeah, it sounds like they fell in hours.
Rough.
People, the forces that were able to got on ships and got out onto sea to regroup. So right now you're waiting for the Atlantic battle fleets and stuff to get to the Gulf of Mexico and rendezvous.
Well, in lieu of a better idea, I guess we take Cuba.
My guys, we don't have to take Cuba. Maybe you're thinking about it too much from a military perspective. What if we gunboat diplomacy Cuba and just sail a carrier battle group into Guantanamo Bay Harbor? What are they going to do to stop us? It's already a U.S. Army base.
Do we have any information on how other nations are handling this?
People, we don't quite know. Certain places, we know that Japan is totally out of control right now.
Okay, what about Russia?
No news from down the line.
Russia refused to comment.
No news from Russia. No news from North Korea. No news from China. No news from China. No news from the African Union. None of that.
Alright, what are the odds that Russia is handling this well enough to actually respond to our aggression on Cuba?
What are the odds that Russia is handling any operation well?
If we're not getting news about Russia, Russia's not getting news about us.
Good point.
Probably the case, yeah.
You think the Russians are getting better intel than the U.S. fucking military right now? No.
You hear that Rio de Janeiro might be safe.
Where's that?
Yeah, where the fuck is that?
South America.
Roll your insights on that one to believe or disbelieve.
I disbelieve it because
Rio de Janeiro is fucking huge.
Isn't Rio?
Yeah. Rio de Janeiro's a giant fucking ghetto, my guy.
Isn't it a favela?
Yeah, but it's full of favelas. Okay, that's
okay. No, it's gone.
No, Rio de Janeiro is huge. You very quickly realize that it's just, New York's supposed to be safe. Oh no, Rio de Janeiro's supposed to be safe. I hear London is totally fine. Yeah, okay, buddy. Sure it is.
That sounds like a zombie posting to me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we should necessarily take and liberate Cuba right away, but we should go to Guantanamo.
And begin establishing a holding?
It's certainly an area where we can establish an American colony to continue the American way of life when everything goes south of the continent.
With baseball.
Because as we all know, the only thing that should survive an apocalypse is America.
Well, as long as we continue the American way of life and baseball, then Chaz is done.
One moment.
And maybe someday, even Havana will have a Six Flags.
One moment. News is coming down the line. Switzerland has managed to close down their borders and has survived the outright explosion.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That checks
Switzerland
out.
had enough bunkers, tunnels, and food to store like 20% more than its population during the Cold War.
That's amazing.
And it's only
doesn't
got more
surprise
from
me at
there,
all.
so this should not surprise anybody that Switzerland, of all places, has managed to find a way to be okay.
And everyone has a gun, and it's a fucking... Their country's built on the side of a mountain.
And zombies don't climb very well as far as you've seen so far, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's harder for them to climb when they're freezing.
There is hope in Switzerland.
Yeah, but they're on a clock.
No, Switzerland can just hold out forever. They're self-sufficient.
They've kind of been doing that for hundreds of years, yeah.
That doesn't save the rest of the world. Their surviving does us no good.
I say we invade Cuba.
I say we liberate Cuba. Invasion sounds so aggressive and will certainly turn the Cuban hearts and minds against us. We need to win
This is
their
true.
hearts and minds.
Yeah, Flicker, you need to think like a true United States soldier, okay? You don't
whoa,
assassinate,
slow
you
the fuck down.
neutralize.
No, slow down. He's a Marine. Let's not ask him to think.
Nobody asks him to think. He just does.
Yeah, he's a Marine. Let's not ask him to think now. He's not trained for that.
My God, if
It's
only,
not
if
part of
only
his
Adam
basic
were here.
training. Adam would be so angry, and he would be laughing so hard.
Let's just sail into Guantanamo with a massive fucking every ship that we can scrounge together on the way, you know?
How many more ships could we expect to be arriving from the rest of the Atlantic Fleet?
A lot.
A lot?
There are 11 total U.S. carrier groups in the U.S. Navy, and like, how many of them are in the Atlantic?
A lot of them are overseas already,
Yeah,
Shay.
a lot of them are overseas, but any that are stationed in the Atlantic are coming on the
Like,
way,
isn't there
along with
always-
any other flotillas and stuff.
Isn't there always one, like...
Japan.
There's one off of Israel right now, and I think there's always one off of Iran, basically.
Well, we don't know if it's a carrier group, but we know that a carrier group is literally stationed in Japan. So
And yeah, there's always one in Japan.
always, no matter what, it's like written into all of our stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So no. Long story short, many ships are on the way. They will trickle in over time.
But we should go grab that Lexington before we leave here.
If you can claim the Lexington, you can probably claim it as your own ship.
If nothing else, we can just tow it out to sea. I'm sure that bitch isn't
Oh,
seaworthy.
it could get tugged. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
That's not like a thing.
If we just tug her into Guantanamo Bay and then just beach her on the bay, she'll house a bunch of people.
Oh yeah.
True.
We mean, because even the Lexington is like a small city.
Shit, once you beach it on the bay, you can even then bring soil on the deck and garden up there, away from zombies.
Yeah, that's not gonna be big enough though.
The deck of an aircraft carrier isn't going to be big enough to not...
It's like a little city, dude. Like,
It's not gonna be big enough to support us, though.
It doesn't need to be if we take the rest of Cuba. We just need it to hold fucking, like, people that are escaping the mainland for now. For now. That's all
Alright.
it needs to do.
And
I could
think
see
about it like
repurposing it
this.
as just a general rescue ship.
We can,
If we're using it as like a refuge
Quarantine.
or something, you're right. If we're using it as like a refuge for Cuban citizens as well, that's a
like
long
the-
way towards winning their hearts and minds, as well as rallying greater forces to then expand
also-
our reclamation of
we
the
can
land.
bring a bunch of Cuban nationals back from Florida or something.
Which Florida?
Oh, you know.
shut up, dude. Because there's a Florida in Cuba.
Yeah, Cuba, Florida, or just Cubans from Florida?
The free one.
The free one. Again, which Florida?
The one that has face-eating problems.
The one where they
Again!
didn't. The one where. Shut up! Stop, Anase! Just fucking stop, okay?
Shy, I have one. The only place on the planet where crocodiles and alligators cohabitate naturally.
Okay, you got me on that one.
Yeah, no, the place where they legitimately didn't think anything was wrong because they have a history of people eating other people's faces already.
It took them a little longer to realize that there were zombies.
About the methamphetamine.
The place with the salt acorns?
Right.
Now we gotta go to... Guys, are we agreed that our plan is to convince the brass that invading Cuba right now is politically a very viable strategy?
Yes. In lieu of any other ideas, why not?
Seth is still a dissenting party here. Make your claims.
I just feel like it would be a big spending of resources just to try to get the place, because, you know, for one, if it's like all zombies, that's going to be a lot of time spent cleaning out zombies. If it's still people going but mad crazy, there's going to be a lot of resources.
So do you think we should start with somewhere smaller, like protecting Puerto Rico?
Starting somewhere small to be able to, you know, that way we can, you know, ride out the initial wave of insanity, you know, get things settled in, get more information. That's what I feel like would probably be better, because, like,
and Puerto Rico is probably close, too.
Because, like, yeah, having a big island, you know, would be good, but here's the problem. If it's infested with zombies...
If it's infested with zombies, an island is the best thing to start clearing out first.
Yeah, you don't population.
At least it's manageable. You can control it.
The thing about starting with an island is that you won't... It's a fixed population. You don't have anywhere near as many hundreds of miles of zombie migration.
Cuba's the most populated Caribbean island.
Problem is,
I'm
you know,
just
it's a
looking at the population
thing.
of Cuba.
It's like 11 million.
And because I have no geography knowledge whatsoever, it does look like there are some smaller islands around Puerto Rico as well, so we can even start even smaller than starting small.
So, at worst, if the entire population of Cuba has been infected, we're looking at 11 million zombies.
It would be fewer zombies than trying to reclaim Mexico City, for example.
Yes, that's actually true. It would even be fewer zombies than trying to take back, like...
Sorry, Shy.
It would be even fewer zombies than trying to take back, like, the New York City area. Yeah.
Long Island, New York, which is much smaller than Cuba with much less economic potential, you know, is way more populated.
Guys, I found Florida number 3. It's in Puerto Rico.
So we have our choice of 3 different Floridas.
Right next to the Antonio Rivera Rodriguez Airport. I feel like my cursor's not hovering over your area. It's on my pop-out screen.
Once we've taken out Cuba, we can then go liberate Haiti, which desperately fucking needs some liberation.
Oh, there's Puerto Rico.
And then we can go liberate all the good Jamaican weed. And then we definitely don't want to liberate the Bahamas, because they're no natural water supply. Don't know if you know that.
I think we should be starting and ending at Cuba. Once we take Cuba, then we have a place that we can actually work with. And then we start working on the mainland.
And Cuba definitely has the economic base for us to do more shit with it, whereas I'm not so sure about other places in the Caribbean.
I mean, how has real life, that hurricane that went through a few years ago, didn't it like practically level all of Puerto Rico, or was that Cuba? I forget.
Haiti.
Haiti is what it was.
Yeah, that's going to be another thing we're going to have to worry about. Hurricanes.
Did you know that Haiti doesn't have a single elected official in the entire country right now? And they haven't since like 2020 or something like that.
Yeesh.
It's a fucking mess, guys. They desperately need some good old American liberation, which is definitely a hot button issue because America IRL did occupy Haiti for like decades. So we have a history in the region. It's what America does, guys. We occupy it.
That's funny.
Sure, I can piss off more people. Let's go back and occupy the Philippines and the Pacific too. So like that.
Love that, right?
IRL, we also occupied Cuba for decades in like the late 1800s. So we're just coming back home, really.
Oh my god.
If you think about it. And Guantanamo is already American soil. They cannot stop us. Legally speaking. Militarily speaking, they couldn't stop us if we sailed into fucking Havana.
So Flicker stepped away. He's AFK for a sec. His vote is Cuba and nothing else. However, I do want to make the case that maybe we should start on a smaller nation like Puerto Rico, which is an American territory, because if we're trying to reclaim anything, we're going to need walls to keep, zombies from just walking in, right? But the problem is, of course, assaults on the wall. So the smaller the land area we have, the more quickly and exponentially we can clear out populations, rally civilians for reclamation, as well as...
If we just let Cuba fall, we'll be wasting so much potential that it has.
I'm not saying we should let Cuba fall. I'm saying that the limited population of zombies makes it exponentially quicker to rally up more forces by starting on a smaller land area.
I'm not saying we should ignore Puerto Rico. They should definitely be brought into our growing fold in time.
So you just want to let Puerto Rico fall?
I don't think Puerto Rico will fall. It's probably got an American garrison already there, and it has those natural benefits that you already outlined.
So
but they don't necessarily have the... They may not necessarily...
I think we could, in strict hypothesis, send them additional aid to ensure their survival. They need to know that the U.S. Navy has their back, even if we're not there right now.
With our ranking officers.
Okay? They need to know they haven't been abandoned, if nothing else. So I agree with you on that point, at least.
But you think we should take Cuba because they will be much more vulnerable unless we intervene, making Cuba a higher priority.
And once we have intervened, they are far more economic. They are, in the region, they're the economic powerhouse. I mean, nothing compares to the U.S., but we can't hold the continental U.S., my guy.
Flicker just replied. Flicker, did you come back?
Yeah, I'm back.
If we were going to stay in the continental U.S., we should have gone to Arsenal Island, but I think it's too late for that.
So, Flicker, I don't think it's diminishing returns. What I think it is that it's exponentially quicker to gain more forces to then expand our reclamation and preservation process.
I agree enough to think that we should probably send a task force to Puerto Rico to claim it, if nothing else, if we can get some semblance of control over it.
And of
Alright,
course, we're skipping an entire island in between Cuba and Puerto Rico. How's the Dominican Republic and Haiti?
Oh, shit.
Okay, the Dominican Republic has a huge population. Haiti is a fucking mess. They don't even have an elected official in the entire country, as I said.
Alright, so I have a potential idea then, because, you know,
I
I am slowly being convinced.
Wait, guys,
What?
if we, it's so bad and has been for centuries that if you zoom in on the border between the Dominican Republic and Haiti, you can see the deforestation on Haiti.
Oh my god,
And
wow.
and the verdant jungles in the Dominican
You
Republic.
fucking can, Jesus.
Wow!
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Jesus!
Like Haiti has
Holy bejesus!
Haiti is the only country
Oh
in
my
history
God.
that was founded off of a successful slave rebellion.
Yeah.
Don't know if any of you, the rest of you know that. So
I knew that.
I'm at least
I know nothing.
I'm at least sympathetic to the Haitian cause, but they are they're a mire of corruption, and they literally had an emperor at a later time, and then they spent decades under U.S. occupation. But yeah,
It's not great.
You can if you zoom in, you can literally see Haiti is a deforested mess, and the Dominican Republic, which actually has laws protecting the nature there,
Yeah.
and is an economic powerhouse. The Dominican Republic is great, but I do not think that island will do well.
People, stop messing around with the main map. Fiddle around with your maps.
I am fiddling around with my map.
Trikekis is the one messing with the Cuban map.
No, actually, I wasn't even touching my mouse.
Okay, anyway, it doesn't matter. Your Seth said they had an idea, so
I want to hear it.
you kind of just talked
All right.
over him, so we're going to call that attention.
Alright, well, since I have been at least somewhat convinced, I say we send a bulk to Cuba, but we do also send some divisions to Puerto Rico and Haiti and, you know, get information first.
So scouting
Division-
parties, at least.
You say division. We'll remind you you're a Navy person. There are
Wait,
no divisions. You have
There aren't naval
fleets.
divisions.
But you have fleets right here is what you're dealing with.
Oh.
Like strike forces and stuff.
Let's send a flotilla. How about that?
That's correct.
What is that word?
A group of ships.
Yeah.
I think
I believe it's specifically a group of warships.
Not
No.
necessarily.
No, in fact, if you just Google flotilla, the definition is cargo boats
Oh.
that it uses.
And our
Then
familiarity
we're definitely
with
going to send a quote-unquote flotilla.
So you want to send out to Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic,
Yeah.
but
Get a
you
status
also
on them.
want you also want to take Guantanamo.
I don't think.
Well, what I was thinking is we head for Guantanamo, and on the way there, we send some other people out to the other places as well.
we split up with some scouting parties is kind of the idea, right?
So realistically speaking, you will get to Guantanamo. You'll get to Cuba first. So just
Also-
send your guys out from here.
I can't remember if it is the Bahamas or not, but it might be one of those islands up there. It might be Turks and Caicos or the Bahamas. One of those has no natural water supply, and everything has to be like done through electrolysis and imports.
Oh,
So,
hey, I'm on Florida number
I think that
4.
might be Bermuda.
There's an entire island in the Caribbean that's going to die without help at some point.
How many Floridas are there? I found Florida number 4.
Don't worry about
Bahamas.
it. Don't worry about it. It doesn't fucking matter.
It just means
so-
power, my guy.
That makes more sense, but still.
So you want to present this to higher command?
It literally just means they named the place as a flowery place.
So
Nice.
you want to present this to high command?
Yes, that we want to take a look at the island nations south of the United States and start either reclaiming or aiding.
Liberating.
Seth.
They're right
Yes.
for liberation.
Sorry, Jacob.
Yes.
Roll 3d6 as you are the navy guy here,
All right. Okay.
and thus you're the guy asking for requisition of ships and movement.
Oh no!
Wow.
I rolled high.
Does anybody? Sorry, Anase, would you like to try to be wingman here to keep him from completely blowing this?
Yes, I would. I hope my charisma or whatever else. I don't know what the advantages do.
Just roll 3d.
Crap!
I am.
I nearly rolled max on all of them.
You just
13.
What you did was you just rolled a critical failure.
Mhm.
Anase saved you from turning that paperwork in.
He's like,
He's the proofreader.
Whoa. Did you actually proofread this, my guy?
This sounds completely insane.
This is complete gibberish. You're literally saying we should go in and conquer Cuba. No.
Not gonna work.
You gotta speak militaryese, my guy.
Yeah, liberate them. American values. Mention how they're just yearning for freedom. That kind of shit.
All right. So
Talk about the
here's what
political
you're gonna do.
advantages of this land.
So here's what you're gonna do, Jacob. You're gonna roll 3d6 twice more, and you're gonna take the best option to you.
Nice.
All right.
Yes, because you have some guy who can't went. Whoa. You don't want to turn that in. Let's work together on
Caribbean
this.
right there.
All right. And what's your other one?
There it is.
All right. So after a day of figuring everything out, and
Getting the wording right.
getting your wording right, and not sounding quite so completely unhinged, it's now February 12th, for the record. Just letting everybody know. It's February 12th. After a day of figuring things out, you are able to turn in something that is far more acceptable. And 2 seconds.
Got to make sure all the T's are dotted and the I's are crossed. Wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Jacob just, all out of that military, jargon stuff and just like,
You've been hanging around the Marines too long. Hold on. Let me, the United States Air Force, show you how to massage these words here, buddy. I'll show you how to spend $1 trillion on a new fighter jet, okay?
We need to shock and awe them. Just go in and carpet bomb. No, we don't. We
Sorry.
want to keep the industry intact.
we want to put a pause on everything. Honestly, Anase, that was one of the most reasonable reasons behind why you as an Air Force member could get somebody to... I'll show you how to get somebody to spend $1 trillion on a single plane. Oh, man! Oh, jeez! how real are we comfortable getting here, guys?
I honestly couldn't remember off the top of my head if it was Air Force or not. I assumed it was because it's a jet.
Okay, one moment, we're gonna...
Life really is its own parody.
Alright, total reaction. Let's briefly check our reaction table.
Oh shoot, not trying to do that.
A reaction table.
Oh yes, you're specifically asking for a thing from these people. You're being like, hey man, we want such and such. that means you're asking for something that's a reaction table. So yeah, give us just a little second.
I just remember Try distinctly not liking mine.
Your reaction table?
Yep.
I hate reactions. How dare you take our 8-player agency away from us? No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Oh, but this isn't a player reaction table. This is an NPC reaction table.
How dare
That's what I did.
How dare NPCs have anything to do with it? It's all about us. The spotlight should entirely be on us.
How dare the NPCs have variable reactions? It should only ever be positive.
Yeah.
Indeed. One moment. Sorry, we're doing this all on our phone, and it's actually quite difficult. You know what? Fuck it.
Trikekis and I over here with the organized tables. That's some ADHD shit right there.
Yeah, that's why it didn't work, because it was stupid and hated us. Alright, so you got a 16 on your reaction. The reaction is very good. Your request is granted, if only, because news has just come from Guantanamo, and Guantanamo has begun receiving fire from the Cuban Revolutionary Army.
Oh.
That means we need to
defensive conflict
from communism.
My God. We need to liberate the poor Americans stuck on Cuba.
No, they think that America is going to shit, and now's the time for them to reclaim Guantanamo, which they're very much not happy with us having a base there. Like
they do not. The Cubans do not like Guantanamo being ours. It's official.
Defensive conflict time.
It's time to go in all rolling thunder on their asses. Liberty and justice for all Cubans, not just the ones in America.
Oh boy.
Liberty, freedom, and managed democracy.
And managed democracy for all Cubans. In a managed democracy, you're free to vote for whatever you want, because it won't change public policy, no matter what you vote for.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
So you are truly free to vote for whoever you want.
So in 1 week's time, you will have 2 carrier groups available to you.
My god.
And of which, Jacob, you are in charge of 1.
Alright.
The plan is to strike Havana and Guantanamo simultaneously.
Alright.
You will be in charge of Guantanamo, of course.
Is there a base in Havana too? Or is that just another place to hit?
No, that's the capital of Cuba.
Yeah, I started to realize that as I zoomed in.
Yeah. And, they're both on opposite sides of the island, so it's tactically reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah, squeeze in between, whatever forces, in the middle there. Meet them all at Florida.
Which Florida? There's 4 of them, apparently.
God damn it.
There's a lot more than that.
Stop. Just please fucking stop. It's so tiring at this point. You're done. You're fucking done, Anase.
Fine. I'll give up.
By the way, Anase, as a colonel, you are technically in charge of 3,000 personnel.
Nice.
Which is more personnel than the entire Cuban Navy. So I think we got this covered.
No, it's not more personnel than the entire Cuban Navy, actually. It's about 500 personnel less than the entire Cuban Navy.
Oh, my bad. You almost matched the entire Cuban Navy. I mean, guys, Pepsi had a larger navy than Cuba.
It's only almost a fair fight.
Look what they need
Sir,
to mimic
we're
a
outnumbered,
fraction of
so
our
it is a fair
power.
fight.
Look
at what they need to mimic a fraction of our power.
Oh, jeez.
Flexes and an American eagle, which is actually a different animal altogether, screeches in the background.
We just need to get Pepsi's Navy.
Sadly, the deal never went through.
Somebody's gonna have to tell me about that because this is the first I'm hearing of this.
We'll tell you about it later. It's not important right now. It's not
Exactly.
important right now.
Exactly.
It's not fucking important right now.
Okay.
Please. So, what do you guys specifically want to do in preparation of your storming of Guantanamo? This will be something where they want to get as few civilians as possible involved. This is not an invasion, it's a liberation, considering that Guantanamo has been attacked by the regime of the Cuban government, who has since been absolutely cracking down on their own people with brutal crackdowns.
What should we do? I still like the idea of sending scouting parties to gather information, something small and tactical.
You know,
We don't know why you, a primary drone officer of the U.S. Air Force, wants to send in boots on the ground of all things.
I guess the question is whether or not I have drones at my disposal.
Yeah, you have a crew of 3,000 people under your belt that are all drone operators and Air Force specialists.
well, I have to be the one to point out that if we go in small and tactical, that's exactly what happened with the Bay of Pigs, and that didn't work out.
But did they have drones back then?
The civilian's right. Says just some random fucking officer on this. No.
We need to go in, operate Rolling Thunder. We need boots on the fucking ground. We need to establish control. So we need to simultaneously... We need to MacArthur this shit. We need to land troops in just west of Guadalajara and north of Manzanillo. We need to cut the island in fucking half right there. Meanwhile, we also send troops into Guantanamo to reinforce them.
You have about 10,000 Marines at your disposal after the total flotillas come in, of which 5,000 will be given to the Guantanamo detachment.
And then we need to, I don't fucking know, take Havana, probably.
As we said, Guantanamo and Havana are the two targets. You will be in charge of Guantanamo.
Yeah.
All right.
We just need to worry about one of the two targets.
Well, I definitely think naval landings around Guantanamo are necessary to cut the island off. Because once you cut them off, they'll fall apart.
Yeah.
So simultaneous naval landings on that kind of narrow point in the island up there could effectively...
So what drones do we have access to? Are we looking at like loiter munitions like in Ukraine? Or are we looking at Predators?
Yeah.
You have the full combined force of the U.S. military at your side.
All right.
So, yeah.
As we said, the U.S. military has actually done pretty well for themselves.
We're going to use FPV drones to instill terror into the Cuban forces.
You will have to remind us.
FPV is first-person view drones, so basically it's a person looking through a VR headset, and they fly a small drone with a munition right to a group of soldiers.
So you want to mostly do drone strikes as your opening play?
That can never win a war, my guy.
We don't need to win the war. We need to make them too scared to stick their heads up.
We need to physically occupy their space if we're gonna win.
It sounds to me then that the
if they are
drones
too
are like
scared to stick
support
their heads
artillery.
up, then we can move in much less opposed.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like the drones will act as sort of support artillery, weakening them as well as suppressing them while we send in the actual soldiers to clear things out.
We can't afford to hold off like the U.S. normally does for weeks bombing the shit out of a place. We don't have that kind of time.
Yeah,
Well, I was thinking
you've already spent a week. The people in Guantanamo are holding out.
We need to think about this less like a modern battle and a little bit more like invading an island in the Pacific Theater in World War II. We need boots on the ground, or we cannot take this island.
How many JMs do we have?
I was going to say, here's my suggestion. Don't send the drones out days ahead of the forces. Send them out an hour ahead. That way, the drones are there, and then immediately the soldiers come in.
I have
Support artillery.
I have both.
Guys, stop. Flicker, what did you say?
I said, how many JDAMs do we have?
We don't fucking know.
We want
Probably have enough.
We're not looking to destroy their infrastructure either, my guy.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we've explicitly stated already. They want as little infrastructure and civilian casualty as possible.
Destroy their infrastructure and kill lots of... More importantly, we don't want to kill a lot of them, yes. So that's true. We need to win their hearts and minds.
So yeah, then just plain boots. Drones will have to wait then, probably. Or just be exclusively scouting.
I like the idea of using the drones to gain information before we then send soldiers, because the drones are more disposable than our forces.
We should definitely be using the drones. Like, we're not using them. And scouting is a great use for them. Absolutely a great use for them.
Whatever our least armed drones are would be the ones we obviously would want to use, because you don't want a drone getting shot down just because you were using an artillery drone being shot down.
I have full faith that man for man, our divisions, if you will far outperform anything the Cubans can throw at us. Anything the Cubans can throw at us. But we need to maintain local superiority at any given point. Because they will have numerical superiority if we give them time to regroup. So we need this war to be over in days, not weeks.
Have we considered using zombie lures to overwhelm them?
What?
No, because we're not trying to infect the island.
Yeah, we're trying to reduce the zombie population, not increase it.
But we can use that when we later liberate China or Russia or something, I'm sure.
Or the continental U.S.
Yeah, such techniques might be useful later, but we're not trying to infect these people. We're here to liberate them.
Yeah.
We are, however, authorized military force against their armies.
Well, anybody who shoots at us, obviously we gotta shoot them back.
I'm just saying the Geneva Convention says nothing about using zombies to attack enemy soldiers.
It's a biological
Except...
weapon.
Yeah.
The Geneva Convention might not say anything. It just goes against our long-term goals.
And it's absolutely a biological warfare.
Zombies are harder to put down because, you got to be kind of precise. You got to hit the head most of the time, but I guess you could take them out if you just completely obliterate the torso.
Yeah, zombies don't exactly do a whole lot to scatter when a bomb is dropped in their general location.
Zombies don't know fear.
Yeah, we're not going to win a fear war against the zombies, which is why we need to win the economic war against the zombies.
Yes, because zombies clearly have a bunch of investments.
Establish superior monopolies in the zombie market.
Yeah, the zombies have shit economic strategies, my guy.
It's true. They're not really concerned about it.
They definitely will be producing very low numbers of weapons against us, so I think we're good on that.
Hell, they're probably not even going to be making produce. I mean, have you seen a zombie farm? If anything, the zombies just try to eat the farms.
In the coming weeks, they will be producing lots of more zombies.
So I assume from this point then, our entrance towards Guantanamo is going to be that inlet that you have on the primary map there. That seems the most viable to me.
You mean Guantanamo Bay?
Is that place actually called Guantanamo Bay? I am sorry, I did not see that anywhere on the map.
Yes.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, wait, hang on. Anais.
Listen, I didn't have geography class. Okay?
It's a bay.
In a place called Guantanamo.
I don't know the borders of city boundaries. All right, listen.
Guy, do you know the kind of enhanced interrogations that we can perform here?
I mean, we were already doing that. We didn't need an apocalypse for that.
If it's fine because it's not technically America yet.
Oh my god! Yet.
Well, we're about to make it part of America.
The 51st state of Cuba. God bless the USA.
Wait, the 51st state of Cuba, implying Cuba takes over the American states. Are you some kind of Cuban spy?
Cuba doesn't have spies like that. Come on, my guy. It's not the Cold War.
Alright, but I've got both of my eyes on you there, buddy.
Maybe you should have them.
Yeah, that's how binocular vision works.
Yeah, you should have focus on your fucking work.
So, what's the plan, Stan?
Is there any
like
particular location along the bay that's a useful entry point?
The bay.
Probably the
There's
bay.
a big, fat, mile-wide mouth.
Okay,
We're looking
If I
at it
had
right
to
now.
guess, it would be the U.S. base there.
okay, kind of a hot topic here, but
US base is right there, by the way.
but when we get to Guantanamo Bay, what should we do with all the fucking terrorists there? And why is the right answer should just execute them?
Hold on the American nationalism for just a second. Shy is mapping.
No, that's cool. That's cool. We're back. It's fine. Go ahead, do your thing.
You're gonna, like, what are you gonna do with all the fucking terrorists in Guantanamo Bay? Because, like, obviously you can't let them go, and it's a huge drain of resources to, like, house them.
No, okay, no, I see what you're talking about. The prisoners.
Like, there's a ton of fucking terrorists in Guantanamo Bay, my guy.
Jeez.
Many of them have been there for decades.
Getting angrier and angrier the entire time.
And I'm sure they've all reformed, and especially with such light treatment as they've been getting there. And so why should we just execute them when we get there? And how do we justify that?
I can think of exactly one justification. Think of an infiltration from Cuban soldiers releasing their terrorists and staging an assault inside our base.
Then we should stage a false flag attack where we have the prisoners stored on the edge of the compound, and whoops! Oh no, the terrorists attacked and all the prisoners got killed! Oops! Anyway, we also killed the terrorists, so there's nobody to tell us it didn't happen that way.
I mean, I could only think of one possible situation, otherwise probably just keep them in prison.
There would be a drain of resources, though.
The United States Army would never stage a false flag attack. But this is extraordinary times, and democracy deserves extraordinary measures, doesn't it?
What if we just release them to the Cubans?
You mean in a sort of trade deal?
My guy, no. Do you really want to release some terrorists on the Cubans just to find out a year or two later that one of them's holed up in Havana and set up an underground cell of jihadists?
No, we release them. No, we release them to the Cubans and we track where they go, and then we drop some munitions on it.
Do you think Cuba wants these?
They're now combatants, and they've been dealt with.
Interesting strategy.
Geez,
seems so much easier to just kill them instead of going through that whole rigmarole.
Yeah, but see, now we have less paperwork. There's less repercussions if we do it this way.
Maybe we shouldn't have played military characters just so that we don't have to do insane moral shitposting.
No, please continue. Go about your business. Do whatever you want.
I'm starting to think this game would have been a lot more sane if we were just playing normal people scavenging and fortifying neighborhoods.
That is a remarkable amount of assumptions that you're making. Why would you think that?
My guy, I wanted to hold out in Six Flags. You all didn't want to do that.
He's true. He's right.
Do you not remember that my and Iset's original plan involved turning a golf course into a farm? And possibly freshwater piracy?
Listen, I liked that, though.
You should have went with it.
I agreed with it.
And how the fuck did we end up here?
Because we found Kenneth Copeland's fucking airport right next to a goddamn military-industrial complex facility.
We think it was funny that it was actually Kenneth Copeland's personal private airport.
Yeah.
We found Kenneth Copeland's airport.
But did you find God yet?
Well, he only has his own private airport because of the demons on normal planes. According to him.
Reasonable.